Hello again and welcome to another video. It's been about 5 months since I've shaved my head, and this space is dedicated to my reflection on my journey so far, how I felt, how I've coped and what I've learned. As some of you may know, I've been living with alopecia areata for the past 20 years. Just to give a bit more context, the first 10 years I used to get a lot of hair regrowth after each episode. My patches were fully covered and I could just cut my hair short or wear any haircut I wanted to. However, in the past 10 years the patches were not covering anymore. Even if I had some hair growth, it was not sufficient to cover the patch, and the patch was still quite visible. So in a way I knew this moment will come sooner or later and I will have to shave my head and just live with a bald head. Of course, in the past 10 years I hoped that the treatments will work, and I kept trying new treatments and anything I could do just to support some hair growth. However, after so many disappointments, I grew tired of feeling that way, and I started to embrace it and just accept that this alopecia has its own journey. So here I am, 5 months after, with a new set of feelings that have challenged my self-acceptance. Considering that hair is deeply tied into beauty, femininity, self-worth, and the society reinforces that, especially the cosmetic industry, this wasn't an easy take. As without hair, people stare a little bit longer, and this comes with some assumptions of illness, of problem, can be taken as a rebellion, of course. Some people may just glance seeing beauty in being bold as well, especially as a woman. But you never know what people are thinking, and of course how I take it depends on how I'm feeling on that day. If I'm feeling more confident, if I'm feeling more vulnerable, if I'm more self-aware, if I'm too much in my head, or if I just go about my business and I feel strong and beautiful on that day. So even though I thought I was mentally prepared for this step, as I already knew how I look with a buzz cut, as I had that in my 20s, my insecurity comes from the fact that the patches are still visible. Even when I shave, it is a nice and fresh look. However, as the hair starts growing a little bit, the patches come more evident, and that attracts a little bit longer looks, of course. So here is where my anxiety kicks in as well, having to face social confrontation and also knowing that people are looking at me like I would be ill, so that sometimes affects my confidence. But I keep reminding myself that we shape the society we live in, so whenever I'm challenged by the thought of losing worth because of my hair, I remind myself that, and that keeps me grounded. Of course, considering all, I have stepped into this quite gradually, just to be gentle with myself. So firstly, after I shaved, I just had a video call with my family, just for them to know what's happened and that I had a new episode of hair loss. So I've shaved my head. Of course, my family is very supportive, and they all had their own reaction about how they feel. Of course, first it kicked in the fact that they don't want to give up and that I shouldn't give up. However, I don't feel I've given up. I just feel like I've embraced it, as I have tried on and on different treatments, and the end result was always just disappointment and me suffering. And now I feel free from that. I feel like I haven't lost anything just because I have hair loss. And after my family, of course, came my professional life. I did go to work wearing a wig initially, and of course that everybody noticed something new and they were all curious what brought the change, and There was a lot of attention initially around it, which I didn't really like much, as I don't like much attention, but that kind of died out, which kind of allowed me to fit back into my routine and just being myself without getting too much attention to me going through hair loss basically, and integrating that into my professional life. That was all fine, I managed it well, and next was my skateboarding community, which was the most supportive, and by that I mean nobody said anything, nobody made any remarks, nobody came in with too many questions or any questions at all. They just, they are very acceptant, and they just noticed there is a change. They said nothing, maybe some compliments here and there, but that was it. Like a little joke here and there, not making me feel any uncomfortable or any way special because I have this condition or because I have hair loss. Of course, the people who are closer to me, maybe they have some questions, which I was very happy to answer the questions about my condition and just let them know basically about alopecia areata and maybe educate a little bit. What I found a little bit more challenging was going into public spaces where people actually don't know me or have never seen me before, where I also noticed a little bit longer looks. Like for example, when I went to the gym with my friend and bouldering for the first time with my other friend. And what I want to mention here is that being with someone actually helped me to cope with it much better, as I was able to focus on our conversation and focusing on what we were doing, rather than being self-aware of all the stares and all the looks, regardless of the intention behind the look. It was very helpful to be with someone, and every little exposure chipped away part of the fear and the self-awareness. The only negative experience I had so far since I've shaved my head. The other night I was outside the A&E, as one of my friends injured himself skateboarding, and we were just waiting outside, and as I stepped on the skateboard to push off and go home, one of the drunk guys, who was not even part of our group, just pushed my skateboard, which made me lose balance, and when I turned around he was just walking off laughingly back into the A&E. That made me feel very uncomfortable and unsafe, and that was a reckless moment from him, regardless if he was drunk or not. That doesn't give him entitlement to jeopardize my safety. That moment stuck with me because I truly believe that he wouldn't have done that if I was a man, and I really don't think it was because I was a bold woman. It's gendered disrespect, pure and simple. And this just reminded me that some people still don't see women as equal in public spaces, and that's another thing that should come to a change in our society. All in all, what I feared most wasn't other people. It was my own thoughts, my own insecurities, which I'm still dealing with. And the truth is that people don't care as much as we think, and if they do, it's their own life experience, it's their own journey, and it shouldn't be my problem what they are thinking, as I'm on my own journey and they are on their own. And I will always be open about the condition I have. If people have any questions, I'm happy to answer. What I actually don't like is when people start giving me advice on what treatments to try, as thinking of the past 20 years dealing with this, I had my fair share of people giving me their advice, and I feel like just at this point I'm just tired of that, and I am trying to see that this is coming from a generous place and people just want to help. I guess I just need to find a way to politely tell them that I don't want their advice, and I'm still working on that, I guess. Being bold has taught me that confidence doesn't come from fitting in. It comes from owning who you are. And I like to see that more and more women are embracing the bold look, being it a buzz cut, be it a new start, be it a hair loss condition, chemotherapy. Women are now challenging the traditional beauty standards, and I really like to see that, So whatever the reason, being bold is beautiful. If you're scared to take the step, do it anyway. You might just find a new kind of freedom, self-respect and strength on the other side.